Happy Friday. Mayor Dan Pope with a weekly update. Hey, if you don't have lunch plans today, don't forget today's the Mayor's Beans and Cornbread Luncheon at the Civic Center. It's where area mayors host a beans and cornbread lunch to benefit the Hospice of Lubbock. Lubbock's only faith-based, the region's only faith-based, not-for-profit hospice. So hopefully you can make that. Busy week. So early this week on Monday at our council meeting, we accepted and approved a clean financial audit for the city. It's you can link to it from the website. A lot of good news there. We may go a little deeper into that sometime in the future, but just know that that happened. We also saw an hour-long presentation from our codes people during work session. It's worth going back to review. We get a lot of questions about codes-related items, tall weeds, junk vehicles, etc. And I think the council is resolute behind our codes enforcement folks, that we've got where we have rules on the books, we need to enforce them. Certainly if you want to go on video on demand and watch that, there's a lot of information about it. We had a brief presentation from the Census, U.S. Census Bureau, reminding us that next year is census year, 2020 census year. And you'll hear more about that. We'll be appointing a local committee that will be called a Complete Count Committee. And they'll be the ones that will lead our efforts to make sure people get counted. It's very important that everyone gets counted. As you know, a lot of federal aid is done on a per head basis. So it's important that what we do is accurate. We also extended our support of the downtown redevelopment efforts by extending the master developers contract, and you probably read some press around that also. The next day we went to Austin and spent 2 days down there. Wednesday was Austin Day. Wednesday was Lubbock Day in Austin. I was in Austin too long. But a lot of good things going on. We were down there advocating for our city, for the Texas Tech Vet School. I spent quite a bit of time involved with other mayors around the state, working with Chairman Dustin Burrows, our very own, who chairs the Ways and Means Committee. And we had a big hearing on Wednesday regarding the House Bill 2, which is a property tax reform bill, which we support. We think there are a few tweaks that could be made to it. And the good news is that they had a very collaborative kind of hearing. We will be in the room working to achieve property tax reform. And I think it'll be good for all Texans. This will go along with school finance, some school finance fixes. It's a very exciting session, and we're going to link there's a letter that 27 or 8 Texas mayors sent to Chairman Burrows and his committee, and we're going to put a link to that on the website so you can read that and give you more details. Okay, quickly to wrap up. Next Tuesday, the Chamber is having their second Diversity Summit. It'll be, if you haven't signed up, please do so. I think it's very much worth your time. It's this idea of how our workforce is changing, how as our community changes, we need to prepare for it, and that this concept that diversity makes us stronger. And so I applaud the Chamber for what they're doing in that regard. Finally, last weekend I had a chance to participate in a Marine retirement ceremony for a local man who joined the Marines 20 years ago, Timothy Rivers, and came back and retired. It was really cool event. And so the lieutenant colonel, the Marine lieutenant colonel, who's now retired and lives in New Hampshire, he came in to oversee it. He sent me an email this week, and I thought you'd like me to just brag on some of our people and read about it. But he talked about, he says, I want you to know how refreshingly impressed I was with those I interacted with in the Lubbock community. No matter where I went, grocery store, CVS, gas station, hotel staff, people who were just out and about, I was always greeted with a smile and a true sense of glad you're here. I found Lubbock to be the most welcoming community I've traveled to for such a short stay. That says a lot about your community. It goes on, but it didn't surprise me. But I told him in my email back to him how much I appreciate him bragging on our folks. I like to brag on all of you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being Lubbock. Thanks for your prayers. Thanks for your good ideas. And we'll talk next week.